Am I the asshole for wanting my son to walk me down the aisle at my wedding? I'm a mother of two. My son Justin, 19, and my daughter Megan, 14. Their father passed away years ago. I'm currently engaged to my fiance Kane, 41, and we're getting married soon. I already made Megan a part of the wedding, but didn't know what to do for Justin. Then this idea popped up into my head. I thought it'd be incredibly nice if Justin actually walked me down the aisle at the wedding. I brought it up to him, and he cried and agreed. I told Kane, but he wasn't happy. He said no without giving me a reason. After pressuring him to talk, he just blew up and said that I was supposed to choose a person who had an impact on my life. My father's deceased. To walk me down the aisle, not my own kid. I told him that my son is my role model. He's been through so much, like health issues and school issues. And he took care of his sisters during an incredibly difficult time and basically held the family together upon his father's passing. I told him that this is what I want to do, and if that he's not okay with it, then it's his problem. He lashed out and said, No, it's your problem. I don't want people laughing at us at the wedding. We argued about it, and then he stormed off, and now he's trying to speak to Justin, but I told him to stop. He lashed out again, saying it was wrong and selfish of me to make this kind of decision without consulting him first, and that it's our wedding, both. And not just my wedding. Am I the asshole for this decision and for choosing this as my hill to die on? We still haven't talked after that argument yet. It's a whole lot of red flags that he has such an issue with this, or an issue with this at all. Because I'm envisioning, your wedding in my mind and seeing your son walk you down the aisle, knowing the backstory that we know about your father and their father passing. I think it's incredibly sweet, and it's heartwarming, and it's a good thing. Kane, who just sounds like a villain.
Kane, you can't have your own kid in the wedding walk you down the aisle. That's not what villains do. Villains have other villains walk their villain wives down the aisle. That's the way we do it. We don't have kids walk down aisles in villain weddings.
The comment section is going to be popping with a whole bunch of narcissistic, controlling behavior comments here, and they're probably right. Number one, the fact that he can't see that this is a sentimental, good thing, and that it's something that would enhance your wedding, not take away from it. That's concerning. There's got to be some kind of deeper issue as to why he has such a problem with this. OP doesn't mention if
Kane
has kids or not.
Probably not. He's a villain.
But maybe he has kids, and the fact that she's having her son walk her down the aisle means that he then feels like he's got to find something similar for his kids. That's a possibility. It could be that he's just a villainous dick.
Because he's a villain.
No matter what, the way he handled it was the second red flag. Lashing out multiple times, not giving you any good reason for it except for saying that you shouldn't do it. I don't think you're the asshole for the decision or choosing this as your heel or choosing this as your heel to die on. He's obviously got some strong feelings here that he's having trouble explaining, so he's using caveman talk. And dudes do it whenever we don't know how to process things. It just happens. But he just grunted and said it's your problem. And that's not giving you a lot of information to work on to help solve this problem. There's no offering of pieces toward a solution here. He's just, handling it like a villain would.
Because he's Kane.
If he can't communicate in a way that's conducive to moving toward a solution, the future's not looking too bright there. So this as a hill to die on makes a whole lot of sense. I hope it goes well. I hope he figures it out. I hope you guys can figure out how to move past it. Caveat, learning to communicate and problem solve as a couple is not easy. For most couples, it's that year one of marriage that's really hard because you're learning to do that, or you're feeling the pain of not knowing how to do that yet, so you're learning out of necessity. So maybe they're just not to that phase yet where they haven't had to work through problems and figure out each other's communication styles and go through that pain of year one of marriage. It's no excuse for how he's acting, but it's a potential contributor to why it's so difficult. They're not speaking the same language yet. Not that married couples ever do speak really the same language, but they learn each other's languages enough to be able to communicate. They're not there.
Villains only speak villain.
Am I the asshole for taking my newborn son and going to my mom's house because my husband and his mom didn't save me any food for dinner? I, female 32, gave birth to my son 5 weeks ago. My husband's mom has been camping in the living room ever since and inviting people over, making a mess in the house, etc. I say nothing because if I open my mouth, my husband would start scolding me saying his mom is there to help and I should be grateful. What I did was ignore her and focus on my son. I handle feeding, diaper change, cleaning, wiping. I only get a few 2 hours sleep, so my husband's mom isn't really helping with the baby, but I thought to myself, well, at least she cooks for us. Last night, I was in the bedroom breastfeeding my son. I knew I was late for dinner, but I thought that my husband and his mom saved a plate for me. Once I got done with my son, I walked out of the room and saw my husband and his mom sitting watching TV. I asked about dinner and my husband said it was probably on the stove. As I was walking towards the kitchen, his mom loudly said that she didn't save me any food. I was absolutely shocked and I asked her why, and she simply said, "Well, we didn't see you at the dinner table, so I thought you weren't hungry." I lost it and yelled that I was feeding my son. Of course I was hungry. I was actually starving. She shrugged her shoulders and said it wasn't her fault that I didn't show up for dinner, but she knew damn well that I was with my son and hadn't eaten a thing in hours. My husband asked me to not raise my voice at his mom, but I told him that he saw what happened and didn't think about me being hungry and needing food. He lashed out asking what the fuck I wanted him to do, and I said, "I don't know, maybe save some food for me?" She defended him, saying it was selfish of me to basically berate him for eating his dinner after working long hours at the department. An argument ensued. I went inside the bedroom, packed a small bag for me and my son, called my brother to come take me to my mom's house, and my husband blew up at me as I was making my way out. We argued at the door, and he told me that what I was doing was uncalled for and childish. I told him I couldn't take his mom anymore. He said I should be ashamed of myself for talking about her like that after she literally put her life on pause so she could help me out. My brother came and I got in the car and left. He picked some food for me on the way, and I ate like a hungry bear. My husband never stopped calling though. In his last text, he called me nuts and demanded I return today, but I said that I miss my mom, that I like it here in her clean home with her healthy food and would like to stay for a while. He lost it and got his family involved, accusing me of keeping his son away from him and punishing him over food. This edit is massive, so strap yourselves in, kids. Edit. Okay. To those who are saying that I'm keeping my husband away from his son, I promise you that he has full access to him but chooses not to come over, simply because he hates my mom and refuses to be with her in the same room. How long am I going to stay here? There's no telling, but at least I'm being pampered and treated like a princess by my mom, dad, brothers. Heck, I couldn't get this treatment in my own home. As for my husband, he can come over to my mom's house if he wants to see his son so badly, but I doubt he'll do it since he's a very prideful person and this might hurt his ego. One more question to answer because a lot of people ask me to clarify. Yes, department equals police department. He's a police officer. I'm sorry if you got confused, but I thought it was clear. Edit. Okay. I felt sorry for him and decided to send him a couple of pictures that I took of our son sleeping. And what was his response? A long wall of text berating me left and right and claiming that I was rubbing it in his face that he can't come see his son because of you know what. He called me the B word, which he never did till now, and I'm shaken and so mad right now because I really thought I was doing something nice and considerate after having sympathy for him. I've decided to get the rest of my stuff tomorrow because I need more time and space to be able to think about what he's done and said. I feel terrible right now, but at least I got dinner for tonight, unlike when I was at my own home when his mom first came. Edit. Oh my God. I can't even find a place to start with this. So he just sent me a picture of him and his mom cooking dinner in the kitchen. It's nearly 7 p.m. here, saying that he was repaying me for the pictures I sent earlier and that they were making dinner and they were not including me for real this time. Oh my God, I'm literally laughing like, seriously, what is this? I'm truly speechless. I haven't responded to this yet, and I don't think I will because I'm so angry right now and may just regret the words I say to him. I'm going to put the phone on silent or something for now because I don't want them to ruin yet another night. But tomorrow I'm going to collect more of mine and son's stuff so I could stay longer at my mom's house. Thank God I went anonymous with this, and I might update later if anything new happens. Good night. Edit. God, I can't believe I'm back on here. But he just sent me a text saying he's only willing to come over if I could get mom out of the house tomorrow. Like literally her to leave her own house. He said it's just for 2 hours so he could see his son and also talk. He doesn't even know I'm coming over tomorrow to pick up more stuff for me and the baby. I'm freaking out. Like absolutely no, not happening. I wouldn't dream of telling mom to leave her own house. That's crazy out of line request. I'm not sure whether to respond or what I should say to him, but I'll try to get some sleep and then see how it goes in the morning. I'm too tired to do anything, but I just wanted to put this here for those who read my thread. I'll let you know what happens tomorrow. Holy balls. How does this same story just repeat itself in different forms over and over and over again? Husband's mom is pulling strings, and in this case, causing all kinds of shit. And while I'd like to say that I can see a solution path here in these situations where the mother-in-law is controlling the son so heavily, and now you're into this kind of situation, it's highly unlikely that this ends well. Husband would have to be willing to, number one, recognize that his mother is controlling him, recognize that his wife and his child need to be his priority now, not his mom, and learn to communicate and actually talk through things. The only person that he's defended throughout this entire scenario is his mother. He's never defended you, never defended your child, only defended his mother. And himself, obviously, at this point is already messy and it's already heading in a bad direction. So the more structure you have right now, the better. You can go ahead and set up some kind of visitation so that it's scheduled out so that he can't say that you're withholding your son from him. And for now, every exchange that you have probably should be documented, if nothing else by written notes with a summary of what happened. Because mom is going to take this in a really twisty direction and start trying to use something that you say or do when he comes to confront you against you. The direction that this is heading right now leads to that kind of scenario. Prepare and protect yourself. Try to find a solution path, but above all, prepare and protect yourself. Now, long term, I can tell you that hubby breaking the chains of mother-in-law and learning to communicate with you and not getting in this kind of situation where you guys just are at a stalemate would take a whole lot of work on his part. You would no doubt have a lot of work to do as well, because you two sounds like need to learn to communicate with each other better. But failing that, your child is going to be happier if you are happier. And that goes for both of you. You will be a better role model for happiness if you're happy, even if that means being alone or at least not being with the other parent. I hope you guys work things out. I do. I can't see that path, but I'm rooting for you. Am I the asshole for insulting my brother's fiance the same way she insults others? So this drama revolves around my brother's fiance, Sarah, with an H. Sarah is dramatic and gossipy. It always has to be something with her. She is always talking about someone else in a negative light behind their backs, and I cannot stand it, to tell you the truth. However, I put it aside because she is my future sister-in-law, and I just want to keep the peace. I and my sisters always have a girls' night out once a month. When my other brother married his wife, Angie, we started to invite her with us out as well, because we all like her. When Sarah learned about these nights, she asked to join us once she was engaged, and we agreed even though most of us don't like her. Sarah has never liked Angie, which has always made the nights harder to deal with because Sarah will just ignore her. Angie is an angel and puts up with it though. Last week, Angie was sick and missed the night. Sarah took it as an opportunity to trash talk her all night. Angie does not have a college degree and only has her GED, and Sarah would not shut up about how much of a moron she was all night. Sarah has her master's in biology, and intelligence is one of her favorite things to insult people on. Well, after I got a bit drunk, I had enough of it. Angie is one of the sweetest people I have met and has never once said a bad thing about Sarah. After Sarah finished one of her insults about Angie being the farthest from traditionally intelligent, I said, "Is there a reason you're insulting Angie here like a coward because she's traditionally beautiful and you're the furthest from it?" This is a massive trigger point for her as well, and I know she has emotional issues surrounding her weight. We got into a fight, and I ended up tearing her appearance apart point by point until she was visibly near tears. Well, shit. In the end, I told her I'm only doing exactly what she does when she gossips about other people. I only talked about her like she talks about others, just to her face, unlike her. The night was pretty much ruined by this, and we all just went home separately. Glad you cleared that up, because I thought maybe you guys played like pinochle afterwards. You were like, well, fight's over, it's time for mahjong. Well, now all hell has broken loose. Sarah is demanding an apology, and I will not give it to her. My sisters agree that what I said is directly in line with what Sarah says about others, but disagree with me and said I should not have lowered myself to her level. Last night I got a call from my brother, and now Sarah is threatening to postpone their marriage if I don't apologize, which in my opinion says more about her than anything I could have said. But I actually feel bad now, and I've had time to think about it. I don't know how I feel about this, because standing up for your friend and defending them is really what you did, and you also used it as an opportunity to give her a taste of her own medicine, and that's the part that kind of makes you an asshole. Lowering yourself to her level so that you can teach her a lesson and give her a taste of her own medicine, while an asshole move, was the asshole move that long-term needed to happen. Pain creates change. Someone had to create enough pain for her to change her behavior, and hopefully this is it. Now, if you give her the apology, that all kind of disappears. So you really have to stick to your guns on that, otherwise this lesson is not learned. You already started it, now you gotta finish it. Otherwise, it's all for naught. Short term, yeah, this makes you an asshole, and that's okay. Because you're an asshole with purpose. Surely she's not going to hold her marriage hostage over it. And you're right, her saying that says more about her than it does about you. It's a touch dramatic. Splash of crazy. If you wanted to accomplish this without being the asshole, simply saying, it's cowardly to talk about her when she's not here. She's my friend. And probably stop right there. You went for the jugular several times, and while it was well warranted in the grand scheme of things, you accepted the role of being an asshole right then, sweetheart. And again, that's okay. I'm all for being a functional asshole. An asshole with purpose.
An asshole on a mission.
Yeah, the visuals are getting weird. I'm sorry.